Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritam Naranchaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayom Diraye Nashtaprayeshu Abhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavate Uttama Sloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naischiki. Shrimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Shri Shri Radha Damodar Bhagavan ki jai. Jagannath Baladev Subhadra Maharani ki jai. Sita Ram Lakshman Hanuman ki jai. Shri Shri Gaur Nitai ki jai. Lakshmi Nrsingadev Bhagavan ki jai. Giriraj Govardhan ki jai. Tulsi Maharani ki jai. Guru Parampara ki jai. Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki jai. ISKCON Vartaman Guru Vrinda ki jai. Om Agyana Timirandhasya Gnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Vancha kalpatarubhayascha kripa sindhubhaivacha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Ananta koti Vaishnavrinda ki jai. Hare Krishna. So today we'll be taking a verse from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 5, Chapter 12, verse number 14. Aham pura bharato nama raja vimukta drishta shruta sanga bandha aradhanam bhagavato ihamano mrigo bhavam mriga sanga dhatartha. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. In a previous birth, I was known as Maharaj Bharat. I attained perfection by becoming completely detached from material activities through direct experience, and through indirect experience I received understanding from the Vedas. I was fully engaged in the service of the Lord, but due to my misfortune I became very affectionate to a small deer, so much so that I neglected my spiritual duties. Due to my deep affection for the deer, in my next life I had to accept the body of a deer. The incident herein described is very significant. In a previous verse it is stated, Vina Mahat Pado Rajobhishekam. One cannot attain perfection without smearing the dust from the lotus feet of an exalted devotee on his head. If one always follows the orders of the spiritual master, there is no question of falling down. As soon as a foolish disciple tries to overtake his spiritual master and becomes ambitious to occupy his post, he immediately falls down. Yashya prashadat bhagavat prasado, yashya prasada na gati kutopi. If the spiritual master is considered an ordinary man, the disciple surely loses his chance to advance further. Despite a very rigid life in devotional service, Bharat Maharaj did not consult a spiritual master when he became overly attached to a deer. Consequently, he became strongly attached to the deer, and forgetting his spiritual routine, he fell down. Jai Mukham Karoti Vachalam Pangum Langayate Giram Yet Kripatamaham Vande Shri Guru Dinataranam Paramananda Madhavam Krishna Chaitanya Ishwaram. Jai. So very wonderful verse. In all the verses in Bhagavatam are very nice, but some verses are so direct and so easily relatable. I mean, there are other verses where we'll have to do some kind of an analysis and try to see in between lines and get some, but this is so simple and so much which we can relate on practical day-to-day basis. Where simply he's telling that I was doing very well and I renounced everything, and there's one thing he says, there's no material activities that he was doing, and he was completely detached, and he was engaged in the service of the Lord. He was doing everything right. There's not that he's missing anything at all. I mean, he's doing austerities. he's detached, he's renounced, he's in the right place, not that he's inside the palace. It's just a perfect situation, but just one little attachment to a deer, and completely his life is derailed. And so much we can relate to it as an ISKCON devotee, because we are also on the right path. I mean, we are taking prasad and we worship deities and everything we are doing right, and he was also doing right. The only thing that he lacked, and where we are having a little advantage, is that association. He was doing it alone and we are doing it in association, and that's saving us. And just like he has a deer, we also have our deers. Everybody has a deer. This deer is so dangerous deer. Where Sita Mata had her deer, Sita Mata got attracted to the deer and she had to leave the association of Lord Ram. And then we see Dasarath Maharaj, he got attracted to the sound of the deer and he went hunting. And that because of that he got a curse by the parents of Shravan Kumar, and then he had to be separated from the Lord. Sita Mata got separated because of a deer, and Dashrath Maharaj got separated because of a deer, and Bharat Maharaj got separated from the Lord's service because of a deer. And this deer is so dangerous, but everybody has a deer in their life, so we have to check who is our deer, and who is the one who is in between us and Krishna. Sometimes it may be our smartphone, sometimes it may be our immediate family members, sometimes it may be our material aspirations, so many things, and these are our deer which is separating us from Krishna. The only difference here is he's clear who is his deer. We are still unclear who is our deer. We are still not able to understand who is that deer who is causing us obstacle, or who may anytime make us deviate from Krishna conscious path. So we need to, he's very clear about it, where he expresses because of my misfortune I got attracted to a deer, and because of that I fall down. But we are still finding out, and we are still that who is that deer. And I thought that this is such a beautiful a verse, and especially even the last two verses, and the way he's teaching in such practical way, Jada Bharat. Not only that he's talking, but he's actually living it. Like he explains about good association, and then he explains about bad association. Just previous verse, like Srila Prabhupada says in the purport, and that 2 verses back he says Vina Mahat Pada Rajobhishekam. Unless and until you take an association of the devotee and you take the dust of his feet on, smear your body with this, there is no other go. And then afterwards he also explains about wrong association, and then he's living it, because even in the form of Jada Bharat, he's not associating with anybody. So Jada itself means one who is not attached to anybody, or rather disconnected from the world. Jada means disconnected, So he himself is living it and showing. He was never taking association of anybody. For 24 years he never opened his mouth, and he was never speaking. And in fact, when they took him for that sacrifice in the forest, and they wanted to slaughter, give him as a sacrificial, he didn't complain. In fact, it was so risky. They were actually going to kill him, and he was going to lose his material body, but still he thought that is okay. That's not that much of risk, as much as of the risk of taking association with somebody else who is not a devotee. He thought that's more risky. That means he thought, even if they kill me, it's fine, but I don't want to take their association, because last time association with the deer, put me in this kind of situation. So this time, even if they take off my material body, is fine, but I don't want to give them association or take their association. So he kept quiet, and then Mother Kali had to intervene and somehow save him. But then again we see, when it comes to talking to Maharaj Rahaguna, who also actually materialistic, in the sense Chaitanya Mahaprabhu never even wanted to see the face of a king. So king by themselves are put into category of those who are materialistic people. But here we see he opens his mouth and he gives his association, and he takes association of Maharaj Rahagun. So he, by his example, is teaching, okay, what's the right association, what's the wrong association. That means he's not against association as such, but he's just warning us that take the right association. So so he just he says take the right association, then you will be elevated. And then he gives his own example. Look what happened to me when I took the wrong association. And I thought one point which was very nice in this verse is that a devotee never gives up the opportunity to preach. Now here he thought, okay, here is an opportunity to preach about Krishna, to say something about Krishna, to give message of Krishna. Then he is all ready to give up his vow of silence, for 24 years. And then it was not even sure that he may again fall down. You'd never know. But then he took a little risk, because he thought here is a soul who is who is a potential candidate to become a devotee, or who can be told about Krishna. And then he just broke the vow of silence and he spoke. So that was so wonderful that we see this quality, that devotee is always looking for an opportunity to talk about Krishna and preach about Krishna. And there was one other point which struck to me, is that the humility of the devotee. He is ready to openly let people know about his fall down. And I thought that was very sweet. Usually, practicing devotees, even though, they try their best, but somewhere they would not be so open about their fall downs, or they would not be so open about, they may try to, even if they internally understand I'm going wrong, but they may try to hide it. But here he's so honest and so openly he tells, look, I fall down, this is what happened to me. And I thought that's also one very sweet point which we can take, that things which are hidden multiply. That's why people hide their wealth, because it will multiply. If you don't, if you tell your children and your husband and your wife, and this is the money, they may end up spending, but that's why they hide, because it multiplies. And similarly, if a devotee hides his fall down, there's always chances to go more down. And here he's so very frankly saying that this is how I fall down. He's so open about it. And I thought that was one. Actually, Bhagavatam is completely full of such stories of fall down of those who were like, the big names, the best and the brighter ones, whether it is Nala Kuvera or Manigriva who fall down, or whether it is Saubaramani who was doing austerity under the water, or whether it was Jai Vijay. They had to fall down from Vaikuntha. They were right there in association of the Lord. Or whether it is Ajamil, who was in Sattva Guna, and he was a Brahman, but even he fall down. We see so many such pastimes in Bhagavatam about the repeated fall downs, and then of course their repeated attempts. But then one thing so beautiful about it all is that it's not only about the stories of fall down, but it's also about what do you do next after you fall down. So what next? What are you supposed to do? And I thought that was so important for a devotee. Like we see here, he fall down and he got attached to the deer, but then he also repented, and then he also realigned himself, and then he also redirected his life, and then he brought those changes in his life. And then next time, even though in the deer birth, he was always associating with the rishis, the munis in the ashram, and he was not eating opulently green, sweet, juicy grass, but simply taking some dry grass. So he was doing austerity, and he was taking the right association, and he was repenting deeply. And then he gave up his body in the Ganges, and then again he gets this body of Jada Bharat, where he is ridiculed and he's criticized and he's treated so badly, but he's not bothered, and he's one-pointedly focused that no, this lifetime I want to achieve it. And that is something so special, and these pastimes are such inspiration to us that yeah, they will be fall down, and it's not that we'll always be on the same stage and we'll always do well in Krishna consciousness. There are always chances that we may fall down, but the whole point is what you do after fall down is so important. I was hearing His Holiness Hanuman Preshak Swami, and he was mentioning so beautifully that yes, there can be fall down, and there will be, and you cannot be sure about it. Only if Krishna is very, 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 very kind to us, then somehow we may escape from falling down in this lifetime, and we may continue our devotional life. But a devotee should be always thinking, or should be ready with the contingency plan. He should be ready, what next if I fall down. He should be prepared mentally, and he should not become overconfident about it. And he should have his plan in place. So what am I going to do next if such situation does arise? And just like even in the material world, people are so sharp. They're always ready with a contingency plan. Even if you go in the airplane, if you're sitting in the flight, the first thing they will tell you is that in case the cabin pressure comes down, there are this oxygen mask will come down or slide down, or if there is a water landing, then a parachute. They let you know if it will not happen, but if it happens, this is what you can do and this is what you can do. So like that, a devotee needs to also have a contingency plan in the spiritual life. Okay, I'll try my best not to go down, but in case if I do, then what? Who is my backup? What's my backup? Who's going to help me? Now we see here, everything Bharat Maharaj was doing was right, but the only thing that went wrong was no association. Because Maya is so powerful, alone fighting is very difficult, and devotee needs association. Otherwise it's very difficult to fight Maya. Because if there was devotee association, then somebody would have told Bharat Maharaj, you are not attending Mangalarti nowadays, or rather you're not chanting, you're getting too attached to the deer, and they would have warned him. But there was nobody by his side, and actually devotees are our and the contingency plan, or Guru is the contingency plan, or the senior devotees are the contingency plan. The Vaishnavas are our contingency plans, because they can somehow bring us back. If we have devotee friends, and if we are in a devotee community, and we have devotee association, and we're living in a devotee community, they are like those rope, just like those mountaineers. These mountaineers, when they are climbing the rock, and what they do is they keep drilling those hooks, and they have some kind of a rope. So when they're climbing the mountain, the rope is always there to support them, and for a sure there will be a slip. When you're climbing a rock, nobody can claim I never slipped and I just climbed just like that. There will be always a slip, and you'll go one step down, and then again you'll climb. But the whole point is that you'll not fall flat ground. You'll not fall flat on the ground. You may just slip because of the rope. If the rope is there, it's okay. So that's what the devotees like. We may slip, but we don't want to fall. That's the whole thing. So if we have this devotee community, and we have this devotee association, there may be occasional slip, but we don't fall, because there is rope, and then we'll again take the rope, and then we'll again climb back, and then we'll again climb back. So devotee association is so very important. Shelter of Krishna, association of devotees, and understanding of one's weakness. Because one should have 100% faith that avashya rakshibe Krishna, because that's one of the limbs of surrender. At the same time, one should be aware of one's own limitation and one's own weakness, which is so important. Because sometimes if we get overconfident, we can't go inside a bar, and we can't go and completely associate with some non-devotees and say avashya rakshibe Krishna will protect me even if I am in this kind of. No, we know what are our weaknesses, and we know our limitations, and we take care and we try to make all the endeavors, and then also we have faith that Krishna will protect, and this goes simultaneously. And then we are in we take association of devotees, and we try to, just like a deer, in the herd of deers, when they are in a herd, they're very well protected. No lion attacks them. But the moment the deer stops, it gets attracted to some green grass, this is very nice, and just leaves the association of the herd. And when the lion sees from far, okay, now the deer is all alone, and the lion just grabs the opportunity and attacks the deer. But if we are in the herd of devotees, we are in protection of devotees, then there are less chances for Maya to attack us. In fact, His Holiness Hanuman Prishak Swami Maharaj was giving one very nice example, that just like the porcupines, they're all having those sharp thorns on their body, but they almost all the time stay together during winter, because they know even if the thorns are hurting them, they're hurting each other, but they're safe. If they go out, they will freeze to death because it's very cold outside. So somehow they stick together. Or rather, he was explaining about those stones. There's bunch of few stones inside, sharp, pointy stones inside a bag, and they may be piercing each other, but over a period of time they all become soft, just like the stones near the water of Ganges. The waves of the Ganges, they keep hitting the stone, and over a period of time the stones become soft. So sometimes when we are in a devotee community, we have our own challenges, but still if we somehow stay together, then we can keep Maya away, because Maya is so powerful. Maya is so powerful. I was just hearing day before yesterday one class by His Holiness Jayapataka Swami Guru Maharaj, and somebody was asking him a question, saying that we are with devotees. Do we still need to be afraid of Maya now that we are in association of devotees? And he said, yeah, devotees association is what we are looking for as a shelter or a guard against Maya, but at the same time, one should always be in that constant fear of Maya. Just like he gave the example, he said, just like Yashoda Mata, she was so afraid that somebody will take away her little Krishna from her, and she was always constantly thinking about Krishna's well-being. Some demon may attack him, or something may happen to him, and she was always living in that fear. Similarly, a devotee should always live in that fear. Maya may take away my devotion, Maya may put me into a wrong association, and I should be careful. So that constant fear should be there. And he said that we are too small and Maya is too big. Let's be afraid of Maya. And I thought that was very beautiful point. In fact, I'll tell you something very interesting that I came across. There's a conversation between Tamal Krishna Maharaj and Srila Prabhupada. And Tamal Krishna Maharaj is telling Srila Prabhupada, sometimes I feel terrible. So Prabhupada said, for what? He said, I feel terrible because of the blunders that I make in seva. Prabhupada chuckles, and he's like, even he understands that it's not that Maharaj is making blunders, but what he really liked about him is his humble position. And then Srila Prabhupada made one statement. He said, it is nice to have that feeling. If you become overconfident, then Maya will attack you. It is nice to take an humble position and always feel that I am not perfect. And then he said something like, he said, just like a son, he's a beloved of his father, and the father may be beloved to his son. And as soon as this son, there is some ailment seen in the son's body, the father becomes very much fearful. My son may die. And then Prabhupada said, it's not that the son will die just because of some small ailment, but the father is so attached to the son that anything little happens to the son, he is worried that, my son may die. Similarly, a devotee should always be in that consciousness, a little ailment, and he should be afraid, Maya may attack me, my devotion may die, my Krishna conscious fervor may go down, and devotee should also be in that constant anxiety. That's what Srila Prabhupada was saying, and he said this is a nice feeling. Devotee should always think that I'm not very perfect. The moment you show a little bit confident, Maya will attack you. I was, at one place hearing His Holiness Bhakti Swami Maharaj, and he was also making this very beautiful point. He was saying, Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita, Mama Maya Durattaya. It's very difficult to, Maya is inseparable. And then Maharaj made one very nice point which I liked. He said, even a new bhakta can give you protection in Krishna consciousness. And how is that? He said, if that new bhakta is aware of Krishna conscious principles, then he will correct you. Prabhu, you are not chanting your rounds. Even though he may be in a very beginning stage, but if he knows the principle, even a new bhakta can protect you. So the whole point His Holiness Bhakti Swami Maharaj was trying to make is that somehow be in association of devotee. Somehow, be in that devotee community, and you will be protected from Maya. And I thought that was a very wonderful point, because spiritual life as such, we need to be so alert, is what I feel is like the take home lesson from this whole pastime of Maharaj Bharat. It's like if somebody is driving a car and if he's little drowsy, that's it, and he'll meet a big accident. Maybe the poor fellow did everything right, maybe but a little lack of alertness, and then he's put into a big problem. It's fatal. So that means Krishna consciousness, one has to be so alert 24/7, even if we may be doing everything right, but a little lapse on our part and it may derail our whole thing in a different direction. So one has to be so conscious. One has to be conscious of Krishna and cautious of Maya. That should be our tagline. Conscious of Krishna and cautious of Maya. Sometimes we are conscious of Krishna but not cautious of Maya. Like same thing happened with Bharat Maharaj. He was conscious of Krishna. He was doing the right things. He was doing the austerity, and he was in the forest, and he was in the, wearing those kopin, and he was taking, just fruits or berries and everything he was doing, and he was conscious of Krishna, but he was not cautious of Maya. So Maya dragged him. So that means one can't be casual about Krishna consciousness. If somebody is not very alert and he's casual, there are every chances that he'll become a casualty. He may become a casualty. ICU. It will become an ICU case. He has to be admitted. So one shouldn't be casual about Krishna consciousness. We don't want to become casualty. That means one has to be so alert and sharp all the time. So to be in that constant alertness means like CCTV camera. And one can't keep looking at oneself. So we need a CCTV camera. And CCTV camera means devotee community. They are pakka CCTV camera. And they'll tell everything, this you have not done right, that you have not done right. Why you wore this, why you ate this, why you came late, why you... And they'll keep on correcting us all the time. And because of that constant checking on us, we will be right in our Krishna conscious journey. So I thought that was a beautiful point, that one should not become overconfident, because by doing the right practices, one can do everything well, but there are always chances there may be a cut. Means just like the men when they shave, they may have the right blade. Just like the material desires, the mustache and the beard is like material desires, and Krishna conscious process is like that shaving blade. So if somebody's chanting and so wonderful, he can just shave and have a perfect face, and all the hair may go away, but there's always a risk that when you are shaving you may cut your cheek. That is always there. So one has to be alert. One has to do it so consciously, even if you have the right tools and everything is just right and you are doing it rightly also. But alertness is what alertness is what is the big lesson from this whole episode. Otherwise, somebody who can renounce the kingdom, I mean, we don't have anything to renounce actually. I mean, he had kingdoms and beautiful queens and such power and such position, and then he could renounce everything just like that, and then he got attached to an animal. It's not that even Vishwamitra's attraction makes sense. Okay, Menaka, beautiful, but deer? I mean, that point also struck me that it's not that to get distracted from Krishna consciousness, you need something very big. Even something very tribal very trivial can distract you. That's it. So one has to be so careful. A small little thing also can. No, I remember many years back, I don't know where I read it, but it seems that Dhruva Maharaj was a very good speaker of Srimad Bhagavatam. He used to give amazing classes in his previous life, and then once it so happened that some king came to hear his Bhagavatam class. He used to speak so nectarian. People used to come from far and wide. So when the king was getting down from his chariot, it seems the chariot was decked with jewels, and the king was also looking very handsome with all those things. And then for one minute fraction of a second, Dhruva Maharaj felt that, wow, looks nice. I mean, nice, the clothes is nice, that's it. And then because of that, he took a birth again as a son of a king in his next life. So somewhere a little a slip or a little material desire, it may change completely our the direction of our journey. I was even Gaur Govind Maharaj at many places. When I first heard him, when he was telling in a class, he said, when you go for Govardhan Parikrama, you should wear your footwear. And I was like, what is this? We always hear that we should not wear footwear when we go. And then he said, because Govardhan is a wish-fulfilling, he fulfills every desire the moment somebody gets in contact and touch with the Girirajji, and you will make foolish desires, and Girirajji will fulfill it the moment you are in touch with Girirajji. So I mean, he didn't mean literally, but he was just trying to like little with a sarcasm that people like you don't go with the naked feet, you will end up making silly desires. And it was something like that. I'm paraphrasing the whole thing, but that's what he was trying to convey. And I thought, yeah, because sometimes even we don't know, maybe small little thing may just divert our mind and may take us into different directions. So one has to be so constantly alert. In fact, when I was giving a Dhruva Maharaj series many years back in our temple, for some few months together, the Dhruva Maharaj pastimes was going on for the Sunday feast program, and then I got so immersed inside this Dhruva Maharaj thing. And then when I came to know about this Dhruva Maharaj past life and all, for a couple of days I was living in constant fear. So one day when I was taking a shower, and the smell of the soap was very nice, and it was very so intoxicating kind of, very nice fragrant soap. And the next day I was telling Jyoti, can you change my soap? I don't want to use that soap. And she says, what's the problem? I said, it's too good. Can you give me something simple? And then she was laughing and she said, nothing will happen. You'll not get attached to soap. Don't get that much worked up. And I said, no, I'm just trying to be conscious. What are we getting attached to? Like 24 hours I was trying to be in that meditation. What am I getting attached to? What is that which is just, I don't want anything to be, holding. Of course, I'm just, trying to make a humor that was like, when the Dhruva Maharaj thing was going on for a few Sundays, I was like, oh my God, one has to be so careful that you work so hard, and then imagine you end up getting attached to something so trivial. It will be like, oh my God, after all that work, just for a small little thing. At least if you are, you got attached to something big also, it makes sense. Baba, it was too attractive to give up, but this is such a bad deal. So I think that was a very beautiful point of this whole verse, that how one has to be so careful and one should not be overconfident, and that Maya can attack any time. And the favorite story of whenever I come up with this kind of topic is of Jaimini Rishi. The way Vyasadeva is telling him that, look, even the man of great discrimination, even the learned people, if they are not careful, they may fall down, and one should be so careful. And that is why you should all, my disciples, you be careful and don't take wrong association, and don't take association of women. And Jaimini Rishi was like, really? So then this whole pastime happens, and Vedavyas says, okay, fine, what I'm saying is correct and you will experience it. And then Jaimini Rishi is very confident. Oh, come on, you are saying that, Guru Maharaj, but I don't think. And then he goes for a Tirtha Yatra. Vyasadeva goes for a Tirtha Yatra. And meanwhile, it so happens that one night in the ashram, it rains very heavily, and there's thunder, and then there's lighting, and then a beautiful lady comes in knocking the ashram door. And Jaimini Rishi is like, yes, what can we do for you? And she asks, can I take shelter? And Jaimini Rishi is like, yeah, okay, no issue. You can come and stay in my room, and I will, stay outside. And then, Jaimini Rishi offers her the apartment, and he's, outside. But during the course of night, so many things happen in his mind, and he starts meditating on her and her beauty. And ultimately, he ends up knocking her door and says, I want to come inside. And the lady is like, why? And then Jaimini Rishi actually, because she's not allowing him inside, he actually climbs the ceiling of the hut, and then he jumps inside and he holds her hand, and very tightly, and he says, I'm very attracted to you. And the next moment the lady changes, in the original form, Vyasadeva. And he's like, oh my God, Guru Maharaj. And he said, yes. So now are you convinced, about the point that I was trying to make, that one should, be very careful in what association? And he was like hanging his head down, all ashamed, and he said, yes, Guru Maharaj, I understand that. So like Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita 2.60, he says, even the senses are so powerful, they can just carry the mind of even the most learned, or people who are, are learned, and they have discrimination, and they're actually endeavoring in this direction to control, but the senses are very powerful. So what's the solution? I mean, we understand that we may get attached to trivial things, and then we may end up into a fall down. So senses are powerful, and so what next? What can be done? So one solution is given in Srimad Bhagavatam. Uddhav says that those who take the remnants of the Lord, whether it is it's 11.6.46, where Uddhav is saying that those who take remnants of the Lord, whether they are the fragrant oils which are used for massaging the Lord's body, or whether they are Mahaprasad garlands, or whether they are Prashadam, or whatever, that which is enjoyed by the Lord, when somebody accepts those prasadam, then that is also, one way where we can control our senses and conquer Maya. So Srila Prabhupada has already made all arrangements for our security. He's given us a ISKCON community so that we can associate with devotees, and he's given us morning program, and he's given us sadhana, and he's given us Harinam, Hare Krishna Mahamantra, and opportunity to read and hear and eat Mahaprasad, and that way protect our life. In fact, it says that the fact that this kind of attractions come into our life, especially during those times when we are most vulnerable, may also be because of our previous karma. The things that we have done in our previous life, they are still there, sometimes in the form of the seeds. So the seeds means they will germinate. Seeds means they will fructify, and then a tree will come, and then fruits or flowers will come. So the best way is to fry the seed. And frying the seed means fire is required. And fire means when we chant Hare Krishna, it's like a fire to the frying pan. And fire means fire. It has to be really big fire. Otherwise, just like sometimes when you make chapatis if the flame is not high, then the chapati gets stuck to the frying pan and you can't even turn the chapati. So it has to be really big flame. So that means one has to be really sincere in the chanting and serving the Vaishnavas and reading and hearing, and the flame has to be really high, because if the flame is high, then the seeds get fried, the seeds get burnt. Seeds get burnt, not only fried, they get burnt, and burnt seeds, trees don't come out. So that means we will be safe. Otherwise, because of our previous karma, we will be put into such situations sometime where we become, get attracted to do something which is not favorable for our Krishna consciousness. So one has to be so careful. So taking association of devotees and taking remnants of the Lord, that's the only way which can save us. So with this, I'll end it here, praying from the core of my heart for all of us that Krishna showers His mercy on us, and in this way we can keep taking each other's association and protect each other from our dears, and guide each other, help each other to do our sadhana nicely, and be in this journey and move forward in this journey. Thank you so much. Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Hare Krishna. I was trying to say that when the flame is high, then when the seeds will get burnt up or they'll get fried, and when the seeds are burnt, the burnt seeds don't give trees, they don't make trees. So similarly, when the flame is high, in the sense if our bhajan is very sincere, is done very seriously, and we are not very casual about it, that means the flame is very high, then these seeds will get burned. Otherwise, sometimes if we are very casual about it, okay, we may do it for some time, but always the previous anarthas or something may always come back. It may be like those lions or tigers in hibernation. Sometimes in the circus or something, or when they are transporting them from one place to another, they give them those anesthesia injections so that they sleep for some time. But as soon as the effect is over, they'll get up again and they'll start roaring. So similarly, like our previous anarthas or purva, even before we became devotees, there may be some tendencies or some habits that we were used to, or even there are something which is carried forward from previous life, and they're pretty strong. But now because of our bhajan, they may be in hibernation. But the whole point is we need to keep them in hibernation continuously until the point that they actually die. But for now, they may be in hibernation, and there are always chance that they may wake up again. So that means constant alertness and continuous endeavor is required. So that was the point I was trying to make, that not low flame, it should be high flame, so that the burning of the seed happens. That means like very, very seriously practicing Krishna consciousness is what I was trying to make that point. You mixed two things. One thing you said is that how to avoid non-devotee association, and one is that how to keep ourselves in devotee association. Did I get it right? Okay. So how to avoid non-devotee association? See, the whole point is, what is association? That's very important. Sometimes we think that if somebody is going on a job, associating with his colleagues, associating with other people who are in your workplace, you can't call it association. Association is when you start getting attracted towards it and you start looking forward for their company, then that is where you are heading towards association. But when you are just being in contact with somebody is not being in association. Because for all practical purpose, you'll have to go to your workplace and you'll have to talk to people, you have working relation. But to the only point we can check for ourselves is that, am I looking forward every morning for that association? Or when will I go, and then when will I talk to this person? Then we understand that actually now it's growing towards attraction, and then that's actually happening, like taking association. But if you're just keeping it to the point of your work, and because again Rupa Goswami says that taking association, giving gifts, taking gifts, talking confidentially, hearing from them, all these are different steps where the bonding and the relationship increases. But what as devotees we do is that for all practical purpose we may have to go to a departmental store, buy groceries, meet materialistic people in our workplace and in so many other situations or schools or college. But only thing checking point for us is that, are we getting attached to that association? Are we getting attracted? Are we looking forward? Are we enjoying it? Oh, I like it so much and I'm just looking forward when I'm going to go tomorrow. Then you understand that you are actually taking association. But otherwise, just being in contact is not being in association. And your second point about being in devotee association, I was giving the example of those rocks near Ganges where the waves keep splashing on the rocks, and over the due course of time the rocks become soft. What I was trying to say is that even though you are in a devotee community, it's not that everything will be rosy and nice and then you are surrounded by all pure devotees, and there'll be all kinds of devotees. There'll be some people who are new, and there'll be some people who are on your level, and there'll be some people who are senior, and there'll be some angry devotee, and there'll be some naughty devotee, and then there'll be some sattvic devotee, and there'll be so many varieties of devotees. And then sometimes some devotees say something may hurt your ego, and somebody may say something which you don't like, or somebody's habits you don't like, somebody's dressing you don't like, somebody's behavior you don't like. So many things will happen. But the fact that you tolerate and you keep the bigger picture in mind, and you know that Krishna is in his heart and Krishna is in my heart, and he's chanting and I'm chanting, and he's making the same endeavor, and he wants to go back, and even I want to go back. We are at the same destination, and we are co-travelers, and then we just tolerate each other. Then ultimately we'll also develop good qualities, because we are tolerating, and he pricks our ego and we prick his ego, and in this whole process we all become good devotees and we become soft and nice. Because if we are always surrounded by people who never tell our faults, or who how will we know? Staying in devotee community is like staying in a practical laboratory. So certain formulas we have learned in the books, you mix this, mix that, yellow gas comes out, but unless and until you do it in the laboratory, you'll never know whether yellow gas comes out or red gas comes out. So when you actually associate with devotees, you really understand that when somebody touches you, your false ego, what comes out from you, then you'll understand also what stage we are at. So devotee association is such a blessing. Every moment we can understand what stage we are at, how much tolerance and patience we have developed over a period of time. So like that, so many things. So that is the point I was trying to make, that even if it hurts, everything cannot be rosy, nice. There'll be always some challenges, because this is material world. I was once hearing one very nice class from Dinabandhu Prabhu, and he was mentioning this point. Somebody was asking him, Prabhuji, there is so much Maya even inside the temple. Where do we go, Baba? In temple also we see, this devotee is doing like this and that devotee is doing like this, and how even inside ISKCON temple there is so much Maya. And Dinabandhu Prabhu, he gave a very nice reply. He said, don't worry that there is Maya inside the temple. Be happy that there is temple inside this world of Maya. That is such a blessing. This whole world is full of Maya, and we could still have an ISKCON temple inside this world of Maya. So don't worry that Maya is inside the temple. Be happy there is temple inside this world of Maya. And I thought that was so beautiful. I hope this answer helps you, Mataji. Okay. Okay, so your question is, practically what way will devotee association help? If everybody has their own challenges, let's say lust, or let's say anger, let's say ego, so what way is devotees association helping to control something which is so internal, which is something inside us, and they are all external outsiders. So what way they can help us? Oh, so many ways we can go one by one examples. But the first and the foremost help that the devotees are doing is the fact that they keep us in that voice is coming. The fact that they keep us in Krishna consciousness, that's very big help, because whether it is lust or anger or greed is not something which will go away just like that, because it's been carried forward from so many lifetimes. And sometimes all these impulses that we have, we may be thinking, I'm doing so nice sadhana, but still why this kind of impulses keep propping up in my life time and again? It's happening because of so many things that's happened previously also. There's a lot of baggage carried from there also. So the first and foremost help that the devotees are doing in our life is the fact that they keep us in this process going. Now, see, when there is, nowadays we don't have those ink pens. When I was in school in class 10 and all, we had those ink pens, Camlin ink pens, and you have this blue color ink bottle. You have to fill it, in your ink pens. And this color is so dangerous. Little bit in your hand and your school dress, everything will get spoiled. Now, when you wash that, if you want to clean that ink pot, when you put water in it and then you throw out, the water will be blue. And then you do it second time, the water will still be blue, and you do it third time, the water will be light blue, and then you do it 10 times, and then the water will be watercolor. It will be completely cleaned. So many things are there in our mind, and it's not going to go away just like that. And it's not that devotee association will do an overnight magic, and the moment I take devotee association, everything will go whack, like a magic stick. No, that your struggles will be your struggles, but the whole point is, at least you are in the boat. The waves will still be there and the boat will still move, but the only assurance is that the boat will not drown. You will not drown. That's the assurance. The boat will not go inside the water. It will float. So, but the waves will still make us move. So it's like that. We have our own challenges, and even though we are in the association of the purest devotees, like the devotees during Srila Prabhupada times, they were in association of Srila Prabhupada himself, who's like, one of the parshads, or, came directly from Goloka just to help us out. But then they still had their challenges, and there were still people who went back to their old habits. There's still people who left Krishna conscious process. But then they came back. That's another question. That's another topic. How neha vikramanashosi pratyavayuna vidyate swalpam apyasya dharmasya trayate mahato bhayat. Little bit somebody has done, Krishna will anyway call them back. But the point for your question is that yes, there will still be challenges, and still things may still be difficult, but the whole point is you are in the boat and you will not die, you will not drown, you will float. But your challenges will be your challenges, and over a period of time, just like the blue ink bottle gets clean, everything will get clean. One needs to have so much patience, because the point is, we've taken millions and millions and millions of birth. It was not even 1 or 2 birth. Okay, somehow we'll clear the accounts. It's millions and millions of lifetime we've been taking bodies, and there's so many things that we have accumulated. So we'll still have lust, and we may still have anger, and we may still have greed and ego and all, but over a period of time, at least the frequencies will first go down. And in case if you are even having that feeling that it's actually not going down, it's going up and it's getting increased, then also there is nothing to worry, because initially when the cleaning happens, if a room is packed with dust for many years, and suddenly somebody opens the room and starts taking a broom and clean, for some time things will actually appear to be messy. Oh, am I really cleaning? Because initially the room was looking pretty good, but now when I started taking a broom and cleaning, the dust is all over the place and I'm unable to breathe. It's going inside my nose, but you're actually cleaning. Little inconvenience, temporary inconvenience for permanent convenience, and over the period of time it will get clean. Just have patience. So if you're feeling it's reduced, great, the work is going on in speed. If you feel it's still the same, have patience, it will work out. If you feel it is increased, don't worry, the cleaning has just begun. It may seem messy, but the whole point is we are in the right place at the right time. We are in the right sampradaya and with the right people, and this process is right and it's tested, and there's nothing to worry, and we can be reassured. But yeah, everybody will take their own time. Sometimes for some people, because maybe if they don't have much of previous baggage, things will happen so quick for them. I've seen many people, they just came 2 years back in Krishna consciousness, and they suddenly become so serious, and they give up all the bad habits, and they're like as if they are in a rush, they're running towards Krishna. And then I've seen people over 20 years and 15 years, and they're still there. If you still ask them, they're saying, yeah, 8 rounds are going on, still doing 9 rounds, it goes on. So everybody takes their own time, and because everybody has their previous baggage. So yeah, devotee association is very helpful. At least they are there, we see, we talk. But 2 things happen actually when you take association. One is the quality and the quantity. When you see others and you see their taste for Krishna consciousness, you will feel inspired. Oh, he's enjoying so much. And day before Haridas Thakur disappearance, he chanted 64. I am struggling with my 16. Some encouragement will come. And like the drunkards, when they drink alone, they may just take 1 glass. But they drink with friends, oh, he's took 4 glasses, I can take another glass. So they will increase the quantity. And then they will share stories. Oh, my grandfather used to drink like this, and my father used to drink. Oh, really? Even I can drink. So like that, that's what happened with the devotees. Okay, I did like that, my Vrindavan Yatra, and I did 2 times Gauriraj Parikrama. And then our taste and our enthusiasm increase when we hear them and when we talk to them. So our quality increases and our quantity of sadhana increases, and it's definitely such a boon to have association of devotees in our lives. Okay, I want to. As part of it, somebody made a call I could not hear. What I understand is that how to control my mind during japa. Is that what he asked? My mind is running all the time during japa. How do I control it? That's a question. So there's 3 things one can do. If you have a mind, it will run. And that's the nature of the mind. You can't expect it not to run. If it's working and it's functioning, it's going to run. Only thing we can do is we can chant audibly, and we can hear attentively, and we can pronounce correctly. These are the 3 things that we can do while doing japa. We should be conscious of these 3 things, that when I'm chanting, is it audible? And when I'm pronouncing, is it correct? And when I am hearing, am I attentively hearing? These 3 things we can do as an exercise. But as far as the mind is, it will always keep running. And that's the nature of the mind. But over a period of time, if somebody is consciously doing these 3 things, it will be on track. And then it will again go off track. And one has to again bring it on track. And the struggle keeps going on. And at the end we win. Like many times I give this example of that boxing ring. So 13 rounds happen, and then of course we have 16 rounds and the boxing ring has 13 rounds, and at the end of every round the opponent sometimes beats up the other guy, and he's like lying flat and is not able to get up, and the umpire is asking, okay, 1, 2, 3, come on, get up, are you getting up or not? And then he again gets up, and then there's again wrestling, and then there's again boxing and wrestling, and finally at the end of the 13 rounds the umpire says, okay, now this guy is the winner. So this is what happens with us on every single day while chanting our 16 rounds. The Maya is like boxing and then we again fall down, and then Krishna is like, come on, get up, you can do it, 1, 2, 3, and we get up again with the second round of mala and the third round of mala. And at the end of 16, the only difference between the boxing match, the wrestling match, and our match is that wrestling match probably they will give it to the one who lasted till the last. But in our case, Krishna is so kind that maybe our opponent Maya is more stronger than us. But if Krishna sees that we have sincerely endeavored, maybe at the end he will take our hand and say, he is the winner. He may just lift our hand and say, he is the winner. So you never know. That's the way of Krishna, It's just that we need to get up after every round and take the mala and do another round, and then do another round. At the end, it's Krishna who is going to announce the winner. So who cares, even if Maya is very powerful? We have the umpire in our pocket. We have bribed the umpire and he will announce us as the winner.
So what should be our consciousness after sleep down so that come back quickly and strong?
Okay, so your question is about what should we do after we sleep. After we sleep, we should not sleep. That's the thing. After we sleep, we should not sleep. We should become more alert. That is one thing. And just that we don't get disappointed. That's why so many pastimes are given in the Bhagavatam about the slip and about the fall down. So that is one way we can take shelter of Srimad Bhagavatam. And then see, this is like that. Treatment differs from person to person. Somebody may take advantage of that pastimes and say, "Arey Baba, even Saubara Muni fall down. So what if I fall down?" That should not be the mood. One should take it in a way that it depends. If somebody is like, very depressed person, "Oh, I'm so fallen," and "Oh, I'm so like this." For them, it's very nice. They just read and they're like, "Okay, that's all right. I'll come up. Even he fall down, and even she fall down, even he fall down. I can do it." So that way we can take positive inspiration from Srimad Bhagavatam and get back on track, and then of course we can share it with other devotees or our near and dear, the mentors or Shiksha Guru or somebody whom we are very close and have faith and trust, and because then they will rightly guide us and they'll make sure that we don't get into depression, and at that right time they will hold our hand. Because many times I give this example that when you are going inside a cave, in the beginning it is very easy because you can still see the light from outside, but when you go midway there, it becomes pretty difficult because you can't see the light from the entry and you can't see the light at the exit. And that is a real time you really want somebody to tell you that, "Don't worry, I've passed through this and there is nothing to worry. There is a light, a few more steps and you can do it." So that's why we were talking about today, constant devotee association is required. And they will tell, "Okay, even I have passed through it," and it happens with everybody. So that's it. So and in fact, I feel sometimes that occasional slips are sometimes helpful. Then we'll not commit the same mistake, and then we'll become humble, and then we'll understand that, okay, I'm not like the perfect, and I may also anytime, so that makes us little humble and more cautious, when something like that happens. The next time you are more careful. So if you get like the vaccination, you take corona vaccination under proper conditions, then your antibodies develop, and now when the actual corona attacks, you are ready. This is what happens with the occasional slips. And when the actual accident is going to happen or fall down, you are saved because you had slip, and then you became more careful, and then now you understood that this is the path I'm not supposed to tread, and this person I'm not supposed to associate, or this is what I'm not supposed to do. So now at least we know what not to do. So sometimes it's like that. The occasional slips, they help us to control our ego also. I'm so particular about this one thing. I'm sharing something about my personal. I'm so particular about this one thing, that I should be wherever I go on time. And maybe somewhere Krishna thought that's coming to me like ego, and today I completely messed up. I saw the poster and it says 5:50, and I'm completely relaxed and cooking, and okay, 5:50, and then Mataji calls me and says, "Everybody's waiting for you." And then I thought in my mind, a good lesson Krishna gave me. So much, I'm like, if 5 minutes somebody has to wait for me, I'll get up and down, And sometimes my secretary Jyoti, she'll keep telling me, "What's the big thing if somebody has to wait for you 5 minutes?" And I get irritated. How I can make somebody wait? And today Krishna gave me some nice 15-20 minutes. All the Vaishnavas were waiting for me, and I was running to come to the spot. So like that, Krishna knows where what, and he'll make you, So these slips are actually sometimes Krishna's gifts, for people whom he loves, and because he just wants to guide them in the right direction. Okay, I hope it helps you. Yeah, thank you, Prabhu. Bits and pieces. basically, maybe you're trying to ask that how do we know that we're even progressing in Krishna consciousness? Are we doing better than yesterday, or am I actually progressing, or I'm still at the same place, or am I going down? So that may be one thing in the mind. Yeah. So yeah, just like you rightly put it, that everything in this material world has a measurement. I want to measure height. I can measure length and breadth, but how do you measure your Krishna consciousness? I don't know. Maybe the one thing is, are we happy in Krishna consciousness, and are people around us happy with our behavior? And I think there was this kind of question was asked once to Srila Prabhupada, and Prabhupada said that are you happy in Krishna consciousness? Then you understand you're actually enjoying Krishna consciousness. Are you feeling happy in Krishna consciousness? Is the 16 rounds still a burden? And are you able to follow the orders of Guru and Krishna without any inhibitions? And so many things that one can check. One can check one's previous behavior and responses to situations, and now how you respond, and you can check if there is a change in that, the change in frequency of your anger and other such anarthas which we may be having inside, how frequently now they are manifesting in our lives, and how is our enthusiasm in rendering service. So all that certain parameters we can check. How happy you are and how you're able to focus. And are we relishing the katha when we hear? So like that, I think so many symptoms we can understand for ourselves if we are enjoying the classes and we are enjoying our japa and we are in our Vaishnava behavior. Are we still able to see faults with devotees? If the fault finding tendency has gone down or not. I don't know how to put it in one line. I'm just like trying to see different things, how we can check ourselves. Do we still find fault with devotees? Are we still complaining? If you ask me to put it in one word, I would say, are we still complaining about whatever situation that we are put in? Then we are still, the one way to see our progress in Krishna consciousness would be maybe how grateful we are to whatever situation Krishna has put us in. And are we still complaining? Are we still, if this was done that way, it would be so nice. If Krishna could have done this in my life, if you could have made this change in my life, are we still in that level? Or we have now come to a level where everything is easy acceptance, and we see a bigger picture, and we are not saying it verbally, but we completely believe that Krishna is my well-wisher, and whatever he does is for my good. And every situation that comes in your life, are you able to accept it completely without any want of wanting it to be in a different way? Like we see with the great devotees of the Lord, whether it was Tukaram or whether it was Mirabai or whether it was Jaidev Goswami or whether any devotees, we'll never see at any point where Mirabai says that, I wish if Rana was more cooperative with me, if my husband was more cooperative, it would be so nice. I could do more better bhajan, or, why did they give me poison? I wish they were... she was just happy, that's it, no matter whatever situation. Whether it was Jaidev Goswami, whose hands were cut and he was put inside a well in the forest, and he never thought, it could have been better, how I wish I had those hands and I could serve Krishna better because I'm writing and I need hands to write. And neither Surdas at any point said, how I wish I had those eyes and then I could... There is no how I wish. That's it. For them, this is how it should be, because this is how Krishna wishes. Because whatever happens in our life is decided by Krishna. Krishna is my well-wisher and I accept whatever situation he puts me into. So I think that would be one level which a devotee would aspire to go, because otherwise things like Krishna Prem, Radha Prem, and also lofty for us. On practical basis, these are the certain parameters we can check. Where are we heading to? Are we still complaining? Do we still have complaint? Or I wish she can change her behavior towards me, or I wish he could have spoken a little better with me, or I wish this could have happened. If that wishing part goes away and there is open-hearted acceptance, is something. Of course, this is a big topic. I'm just trying to say a little bit what's coming, on the top of my mind just now. I hope it helps.
Thank you, Prabhuji, and thank you, Mataji, for that answer. Mataji, there is one question from chat I would like to answer. Krishna Mataji, my question is, when we stay at house, we remain Krishna conscious. But when we go out, we come in touch with materialistic. So how to constantly remember Krishna?
Okay. Mataji, how many questions are there more? According to that, I'll answer.
Actually, there is one more hand raise and there are two more questions in chat.
Okay. So then I'll make it a little shorter. So when we are at home, then it's easy to be Krishna conscious. When we go out, then we have to mix with materialistic people, so it becomes a little troublesome. So yeah, that's how it is. When we are at home, we are cozy and comfortable. When we go out, we'll have to wear a sweater or we have to wear a shawl because it's very cold outside. So that's about it. So when you are home, okay, because the situation is conducive to practice Krishna consciousness, you have your deities and you're taking prasadam and Prabhupada tape is playing on, and you see Bhagavatam in your drawing room. So it is so conducive. But when you go out, you're not seeing devotees and you're not hearing Prabhupada, the japa tape, and yeah, things are difficult. So we'll have to wear sweater. That means we have to sufficiently immunize ourselves, or rather increase our immunity to such a way that the virus does not affect us. That means because you can't all the time stay in conducive atmosphere. The situations like that, sometimes you have to go out and you have to associate. So while you are inside the house, you increase the immunity to such a level that even when you go out, but at least wear a mask, and when you go out, and then you will be safe. So that means that is going to happen. It's natural. You can't stop yourself, but at least keep increasing your immunity. That means our japa should be so nice, and our readings should be so nice, and our sadhana should be so perfect that those momental, circumstantial association with people outside will not have any impact on us or any effect. But if it does having impact, that means our immunity is down. That means the immunity has to be built up. So that means more reading and more chanting, and we have to become more stronger. Then this will become like a Narsimha Kavach, like a shield around, like an armor. So even when you go out, it will not affect us. So we just have to increase our immunity. But having said that, not that just because I've taken 2 vaccines and my immunity is okay, I don't wear mask. We also wear mask. That means certain steps we take, how much to associate, what to do, where to go, where not to go. That such distinctions we'll have to make. Not that we end up purposely in certain place and then we ask, how come I'm unable to? So we make those distinctions and discriminations, where we go, where we don't go, and we try our best not to engage in unnecessary association. But if at all we have to do at certain situations, we increase our immunity. Okay.
Elevated devotee, then is freedom from Maya a temporary thing?
Okay, your question is, when can somebody be completely free of Maya? Now, there are 2 Mayas. One is Mahamaya and one is Yoga Maya. There is no way somebody can be free from Maya. Only thing is that instead of being in control of Mahamaya, we can try to be in control of Yoga Maya. Where we are in control of Yoga Maya, that means we are guided by Krishna, we are in association of devotees, then we are in Yoga Maya. When we are not in Yoga Maya, we are in Mahamaya. So, Krishna Surya Saman Maya Andhakar, Jahan Krishna Taha Mayar Nahi Adhikar. So, there are only 2 things that's happening in our life. Either we are Krishna conscious or we are Maya conscious. When we are Krishna conscious, Maya has no place. When we are Maya conscious, we are showing our back to Krishna. So, there is no point in our life we'll be completely free from Maya. Only thing is, as devotees, we will change from Mahamaya to Yoga Maya. That's the goal of our life.
Shivram Kishore Guru. Thank you, Mataji. Thank you so much.
सब कृष्णा 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 लगे, सब कृष्णा 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 लगे, सब कृष्णा 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 लगे, सब कृष्णा कृष्णा